Hello there, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another not too shabby video. In today's video, I am featuring the Fall Gnome stamp set exclusive to the Not Too Shabby shop, but I am not going to be making a fall card. I'm using these stitched slimline dies to die cut out a panel from Bristol smooth cardstock, and this panel measures 8.5 by 3.5 when die cut out with that largest die. I'm going to use some Wisteria ink from Altenew and this new blending brush from Honeybee Stamps and blend on this really light color in a light layer, because then I'm going to go over the top of that with my Cloudy Stencil and Hydrangea ink from Altenew as well. So I'll blend that on, and when I'm doing this across a slimline panel, I want to be careful to line up my stencil. So I try not to go past the end of the stencil. That way I can take the first little rounded end and line it up with where I finished off with my last row, and then I can have this look that's kind of seamless across a slimline card with a stencil that is 6 by 6. So I'll turn that and repeat doing the same thing. I will make a total of 3 rows of clouds on this panel. So when I get done with the third row, at the bottom there it's really white. So this is where I clean off my blending brush and give it a little touch of purple. I did splatter it with some water and pick that up with a paper towel, and you can see I can remove a little bit of that ink and get a little reaction with the dye-based inks from Altenew. I'm also using my Altenew metallic watercolor for this splatter. Next, I have a die cut piece of grass using another Trinity Stamps border die for slimline cards. I love this grassy little curved hill here, and I'm using bamboo ink and ink blending that on. I'm going to do another layer just to darken this up, and I'm just going really slow because it's a thin strip already die cut, so you got to be gentle with it. If you've watched my recent videos, you saw me bend a piece of paper the other day, and I did not want that to happen again. So here I am splattering some more on this piece with the green metallic paint from there. I think it's the jade, and I love how that turned out. So now I'm going to stamp out some cute images from this set in some versified onyx black ink onto Bristol smooth paper. I stamped 4 more gnomes and 1 more banner, and all of these will be embossed with clear powder so that I can do some coloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I haven't used these in so long, and today I just felt like it was the day to bring them out. So for all of these, I'm going to use a dark color, blend it out with a lighter color, and then bring in my blender pen to blend that out. You really want to use Bristol smooth paper. It is the paper that works best for these markers. So if you have Zig markers and you're not getting the results you want, seek out some Bristol smooth paper, and I think that you'll be much happier with these markers. So here I am with the dark gray marker and then blending that out with the lighter. I don't have the names of the markers on the screen. I really was just sitting, grabbing out of my stash there and going for it, just having fun. So that's the same thing you can do. Find 2 markers you can see. I kind of color on the side to see what they look like. How are they going to look next to each other? And just go for it. Some days are like that. Some days you go for it. Some days you plan things out. So today was just to go for it with my coloring. So here's my orange gnome. You can see each gnome is going to have its own color, and I thought a rainbow of gnomes would be so much fun for this card. So here's my yellow gnome, and blending out with these markers is really easy to do, blending with each other. They are water-based, so you get more of a watery look, a watercolor look. And you can use a water brush with these instead of a blender pen or even another marker and get a really watercolor look. You know, I am a bold, bright kind of colorer, so that's the look that I am going for here today. But you can see there I have a really nice highlight there on the right hand side. I'm making my gnomes have different skin colors, different beard colors, different color of clothing, and I just think that's fun. I think diversity is important. I think that loving people even when they're different is very important, and so I think this card represents that today and how I feel about that. So a little diversity is good, or a lot really. All right, so here's my blue gnome, and I just love how all of these turned out. I could just color, you know, like pink and purple and just on and on. So much fun. And when you're coloring them like this one color, it takes a lot of the stress out because you don't really have to think about, oh, what color am I going to choose next? You just keep going. And I love how they turned out. Color in his beard to finish off that gnome, and then let's color these really fast. Now, I love mushrooms. I think they're so cute. So I love that this set has two mushrooms. One's kind of leaning one way, one's leaning the other way, which is good when you're making a scene. And then I have a flower and a leaf and then the banner, and there's two sentiments in the stamp set that fit into those banners. That's why I stamped two of them, and you'll see me put the sentiment inside them closer to the end of this project. So here I am finishing out those little elements, and my banner, I'm going to just do one color and then bring in that blender pen and soften out those edges. And now it is time to cut out all the things. You can use your handy dandy scissors to cut these out, or if you have an electronic cutter, you could use that as well. So there's all the gnomes and elements die cut out. No, they're fussy cut out. And now I'm going to stamp those sentiments right on the banners. One says, I'm here for you, and one says, no matter what. Isn't that perfect for this card? So I glued on my grassy border or little hill there, and then all the gnomes go on with foam tape, and then I'll add two mushrooms to this card. I decided that the leaf and the flower were just too much, so I left those off, but I'm going to tuck those mushrooms behind the gnomes just to give it a little more depth, and then the sentiment, I'm here for you, will go right on the outside of the card. I will bring in my card base, which is 8 3/4 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4, and I'm gluing on my sentiment, and I'm gluing on my leaf and my flower for little accents on the inside of the card. Now I needed to crease the fold on this, so I bring in my crease tool, I crease it, I flip it over, I get my panel, I put on my cute little glue hearts. Like, I am just such a good card maker. I glue that down, and you might have realized I did something wrong. If you didn't, I will show it to you here in a moment. I did not quite like the purple, saying it just didn't pop enough, so I went over it, traced it with a marker to give it a darker look in black, and I liked that much better. Then I brought in one of my favorite things, rainbow drops, and I added some in and around my gnomes because it reminds me of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they mined for gems, and so I thought they could each have a color of gem that they mine for, and it would be cute. So I glued those down with some glaze, and then my card is finished. So let me show it to you. And yeah, remember me, the cute little card maker? Flipped my card over and glued my panel down. This is why I wait and glue my inside pieces in after I do my card front. So what I did is I just removed that. I've got some gross paper there now, but I'll just glue this banner right on top of it so it's going the right way to cover it up. And then I'm going to put a few more cute things on the other side of that card, and it'll be fine. No one will know. I have a big space to write now, so I better get a really heartfelt message prepared to write inside this card. All right, that finishes it off for me today. If you're interested in this stamp set, I have it linked for you below, and you can check it out at the Not Too Shabby shop, as well as several of the products I used here today. I thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a fabulous week. Happy stamping. Bye.